Good evening, ma'am. I welcome Ms. Aarti to Christ Kindergarten, and also parents had so many suggestions to ask so many questions also. So the topics, one of the main topics is socialization. So there are parents who is concerned how the children's behavior when their relatives and also their friends come in, the children doesn't respond to them.
Socialization is a very complex behavior. It's not something where there's one answer. But again, as a parent, when children see that I treat my relatives well, child also understands this is how they should be treated. So if there is a grandparent, if the parent is speaking ill of them at one point, but in front of them pretending, the child gets confused. They're like, yesterday they were doing this, today they're so nice to them. These are the things that actually cause a lot of confusion. So they've talked ill about a friend and the next day they're talking well. Sometimes I've also seen like parents talk ill of the teacher at home, but then they expect the child to go to school and treat the teacher with respect. So these kind of complex communication patterns are usually the reason why children have big confusions, and so they become silent because they don't understand what is happening. Another reason is when adults generally come home, they tend to torture the child. I can use the word torture because they keep asking them unnecessary question. What is your name? Tell me your name, say it clearly, give this nursery rhyme, tell me this number, tell me 1, 2, 3. You know, they all the time pushing for some kind of answer from the child. They just need to know that children sometimes just like to see you, and they need to understand that you're a safe person. Right? When adults tend to push children, it becomes a very, very complex set of rules.
But even ma'am, even if when adults try to ask questions to them, so it is like bringing their attentions. Example, if I am asking a child, if I enter to a house and when I try to occupy his attention, if he gets refused, again it is a socialize.
See, if an adult is not able to do it, would you push for communication? You go to someone's house and one of the old grandfathers there doesn't speak to you. Do you go and gain his attention? You will probably wish him and you'll move away, right?
I'll wish him as well as I'll try.
And if he doesn't speak, what will you do?
I'll slightly move out.
Yes. So when you expect that, or when you do that for an adult, you have the same rights for the child. Because if I want to communicate as a child, I will already be communicating with you. We need to feel safe to be able to communicate. Now, for example, you're probably sitting in front of a camera for the first time.
Yes.
It's a very comfortable experience for you.
No.
No, you're feeling very, very unsafe, and you are speaking less than you would normally speak.
Yes.
Yes, when you are not feeling secure, communication goes down, because communication can come only when you feel secure, right? So children, when a guest comes home or when a new person comes home, they need to establish a sense of security before they can start communicating, and as parents we need to allow for that.
But even parents say that even when a relative, a close relative,
For parents it's a close relative, for a child it's an adult.
okay, but the person often comes home.
It doesn't matter. The child is not yet feeling safe with that person. And this is very important, because this is how even abuse happens, because we assume that the adult is safe. The child doesn't feel safe. Right? And so we must respect the child's instinct at that point. If they're not comfortable, it's okay. We must give them that space to say, I'm not yet ready to speak to you. I'm not yet comfortable to speak to you. That's okay.
How long the child takes?
It doesn't matter. Each child has a different way of reacting to different people. As adults, we think this person is good, so child should immediately speak. But if I'm really a supportive adult, I will understand that the child is uncomfortable. I won't push to communicate. I must respect the boundaries the child sets. And we can't put it under socialization, because it's a very dangerous thing. Then the child gets confused. Yesterday you told me to speak to a stranger, and then tomorrow you're saying outside my school gate I shouldn't speak to a stranger. It's inconsistency. So I need to set these rules that I will respect it when my child is not comfortable communicating. This is how we start teaching consent. It's very important.
Ma'am, again, there is one more topic called parenting. So, in cities, both the parents go for work. They leave the child to the daycare. After the daycare hours, when they come home, the parents are not able to take care of the child's basic activities, even on studies. So, but the parents are saying we are giving full attention to the child, but the child is not attending to us.
Number one, irrespective of whether you're a working parent or you're at home, to build a relationship, you need to spend time. If you do not build a relationship where there is two-way communication, there is security, there is a sense of love, there is a sense of respect, there is a sense of trust, nothing can be built. It doesn't mean that just because we are in the same space for 24 hours or 3 hours or 15 hours, I will just develop a relationship. Every relationship requires time, because in that time I understand how to work with the child. I understand what their needs are. I understand how to respond. I understand when there is a problem. I understand when they're happy. And this is a very important aspect that many working parents especially need to understand. It does not mean just because I have only 1 hour, my child will be able to give me every response I want within that 1 hour. And I suggest a simple aspect called connection ritual. Every day, each parent, so the father separately, mother separately, with each child who is in the house, needs to spend at least 15 minutes. If you can get more, even better, but at least 15 minutes where they can spend time with the child to just do something that is enjoyable. Because when the child plays, that's when they start developing communication, trust, respect, love, all of these factors that go towards building a relationship. Many times when working parents come home, they are spending those 15 minutes correcting the child, punishing the child, questioning the child, testing the child, doing all the things that will never build security. If I can build a connection ritual, it's a bridge upon which communication can be built. And unless parents make an effort to do that, children will not magically respond to them. Because for any relationship, unless I treat the person on par with me, it can never become healthy. And only then love and boundaries will balance. Otherwise, there will be too many rules, no love, or too much pampering, but no boundaries. And that unhealthy pattern will show in personality over a period of time.
But how does it reflect to the classes also? Even children are not given proper attentions. Even teachers give their attentions to the children. We understand that in a class there are around 40 children, 40 to 45 children, but even the individual attentions are given to the slow writers and also slow learners also, and even a fast learner. But it is given equally. But the child response is so late. How can...
See, when a child does not have a good relationship at home, a healthy relationship at home, it will definitely reflect in every situation, because the child does not have a secure bonding with the primary caregiver, which means the parents, right? And they've always had different needs met at different places. So affection needs in this place, play needs in this place, learning needs in this place. There is no continuity. But when a child has a responsive parent who understands all this, it's very easy for them to adapt in a new situation, because they have a secure bonding in a single relationship with the parent. Which is why it's very important for parents, when they have children, to prioritize children in the formative years, so that these areas are clarified. I understand in today's day and age we all have to work to be able to, sustain a good livelihood, a living for our children. But for that, we cannot compromise on the formative years. Children are young only once. And as a parent, if I understand that, I will make a few sacrifices in terms of reducing the number of hours I work or taking another job, which will help me build this relationship, because this relationship cannot suddenly be built in adolescence, cannot suddenly be built in adult years. It can be built only when the child is young. And therefore, I would definitely urge parents to make time for the child.
Can you give some small tips so that the parents can adopt?
There are no tips. In this, it's about making an important decision of prioritizing the child, because this is not something that can be sorted out by, okay, today I'll do this, tomorrow I'll do that. In my heart, in my mind, I must know that my child comes first. And I need to make changes in my lifestyle to make a difference in the life of the child. Because if I don't make that choice, somebody else cannot come and make it for me. That's very important. Okay? I know it's a very strong message, but it's important.